Rodolphe Herring is the managing director of Yes We Hack. Before joining Yes We Hack, Rodolphe was director of Gartner France for technology sector. He's been managing director in various digital companies, and today he's going to talk about how security leaders create digital dexterity with crowdsourced security. So, Rodolphe, you got your slides ready, I guess?
Yeah, can you see them, by the way?
I can see it. Perfect.
Cool, thanks.
Looking forward.
So thanks, AP, thanks, Peter. Thanks for the kind introduction, although I was taken aback to know that I'm now Peter, which is fine. So hi, I'm Rodolphe Farron, and hi, everyone. Thanks for attending this call. Again, thanks to AP and his team for this opportunity. I am Rodolphe Farron, Managing Director at Yes We Hack, and today I would like to discuss with you on how bug bounty programs deliver a modern approach to security challenges, and how it helps organizations to reduce their risks in a rapidly evolving IT environment. So also, I will try to bring a more European prospect on the topic. You might hear a few repetitions with the previous talk, which is good, as it's an important message that we try to deliver here. And in the same time, I hope I can provide some complementary approach and a different angle. First, a few words of introduction about Yes We Hack. So we are the first and leading European bug bounty and vulnerability disclosure platform. We are the first platform in terms of the number of programs that we manage. And as we do run over 400 programs in about 30 countries across APAC, Europe, and a bit in the US. And we do that with clients ranging from large banks and administrations to small startups. We are also the first European platform in terms of researchers community, and we have more than 21,000 vetted researchers as of today active on our platform, mainly based in Europe. And a last thing is that being headquartered and hosted in Europe, we do comply with all European standards and regulations by default, including GDPR, of course, and we also guarantee the sovereignty of our clients' data managed through our platform. So let's start from our clients, the CISOs and their teams. And there we see some repetitions with what was said just before. So security leaders nowadays are confronted by the challenge of first growing attacks and growing costs, as everyone can see in the news, and a perennial shortage of skills with no end in sight. But maybe more importantly, this is happening in a context of the so-called digital transformation, which means that in the last 2 decades, we have seen a radical change in the way IT is being designed, developed, delivered, purchased, and maintained. More concretely, whatever, it's cloud, APIs, data-centric projects, IoT, agile methods, shift-left approaches, etc. All those trends are leading to an expansion of the attack surface of IT organizations. Basically, this means that every organization is more connected and pulls more code on a quicker basis, increasing potential vulnerabilities on their assets. But what those security leaders also tell us is that despite all these dramatic changes, the means and tools to audit and secure these IT systems, which are mostly pen testing, have been the same for the 2 last decades. In fact, they haven't changed a bit during that period. And I think it's fair to say, and everybody will recognize, that pen testing is rather ineffective, very costly, rigid, cumbersome, and definitely not scalable. And as a result, CISOs and their teams are caught between this rapidly evolving IT landscape on one hand, and these obsolete security tools and methods on the other hand. And that's where bug bounty programs can provide security teams with the operational agility they need to stay in the game of this digital world. First, because it's security effective. They can surface more vulnerabilities, more relevant vulnerabilities with better quality reports and very quickly. Then it's cost effective. they get the same results as with pen tests, but with lower costs than pen tests. Or let's say that for the same budget, on the same scope, they get more bugs, more relevant bugs, and better quality reports very quickly. And then it's an agile model, and that's what we will deep dive in today, because it's flexible, it's collaborative, it's data oriented, and that enables in-depth continuous security. So in the first place, bug bounty is highly effective. While with pen tests, they're being carried out by a couple of consultants for a couple of weeks, once or twice a year at best. With bug bounty, you can tap into a virtually unlimited pool of skill sets whenever you need and as long as you decide. Then it expands your testing capabilities. And then therefore it maximizes the number of qualitative bugs found. Therefore, it maximizes the organization's risk coverage. In our experience, not once has a client submitted a previously tested scope, often on a regular basis, on which high or critical severity vulnerabilities were not quickly discovered. And finally, a bug bounty program also reduces time to detection and remediation, as only the first hunter to detect a qualified bug is rewarded. The kind of competition between hunters encourages them to surface relevant vulnerabilities as soon as possible. Second thing, bug bounty is cost effective, which is very appreciated with the budget pressures and cost cutting that we see in the ongoing or rampant pandemic crisis. All pen tests make you pay a fixed amount upfront, regardless of results or lack of, regardless of the quality of the work being done and of the issues actually solved, no matter if the test returns 0 or 20 vulnerabilities, whether they are relevant or not, low-hanging fruits or super complex and critical bugs, you pay the same price. With bug bounty, you pay only for the vulnerabilities that you have qualified. Just as an example, one of our clients, the largest bank in Southeast Asia, conducted a business case on their audit strategy last year. What they did is they added up the cost of the penetration test services performed during the whole year. And I'm not speaking about the TCO, including the indirect cost, overheads, procurement, project management, only the total price of services themselves, which had been purchased for a year. And they divided that by the number of vulnerabilities reported during that year by pen test. They reached a result of 1,500 euros, 1,500 euros per vulnerability, where the average bounty on our platform is more around 400 euros. So that just gives you an idea. And then, it's going to be the heart of our presentation today. Bug bounty is an agility driver. On that, I would mention 3 things. First, it's a flexible model through which you can easily adjust your audit policy and practices to your specific IT context and environment. It favors a collaborative mindset between IT and security. It creates awareness and it improves security skills in your teams. And finally, it enables automation at scale. So let's deep dive in those 3 aspects. First, as I said, bug bounty is by essence simple, rapid, and easy to use. With our platform, you can actually launch crowdsourced pen tests in a few clicks. And this is important for all businesses, whatever the level of agility. At Yes We Hack, we see 2 types of clients. Those who are already in some kind of DevOps transformation, and those who are still working with the more traditional waterfall model. For the first ones who are in this DevOps journey, they run CI and CD, pipelines. So they need to have continuous testings because they basically deliver code every day. And with bug bounty, they can run testings continuously that surface bugs at the same speed that those bugs are created by their development teams. But for other clients who are still in this waterfall or cascade approach to delivery, and which are still the vast majority of our clients, by the way, The situation they face is that while before they used to have a new release like every month, now it's rather every 6 months. Now it's rather every month, if not every week. And in that context, scheduling old school pen tests so frequently is not an option. With bug bounty programs, they can, with a few clicks, mobilize a bunch of handpicked hunters in order to surface the bugs during the staging or testing phase, maybe in a prepared environment, and then fix those bugs before each release. And then they can suspend, update, relaunch, stop the program at any moment whenever they need a security review. Second point is that as a result of that need for speed, we see that developers have more and more latitude and autonomy in the way they work. They deliver more and more code on a quicker basis, as we said. So security professionals today are vastly outnumbered by developers. And in such a context, if the security team cannot find a way to effectively embed security within that process from early start on, they may find themselves progressively set aside and basically completely losing control of that situation. One way to address this is to raise awareness, obviously, to train those developers and to have them implementing best practices in their daily work. But how do you do that? Theoretical trainings are one thing, but bug bounty programs bring a much more pragmatic approach to this. Through a platform like ours, developers can directly communicate and interact with the researchers who found their bugs or bugs on their application. And through that direct interaction, you create real awareness. You enable a transfer of skills between the hunters on one hand and the developers or the IT teams on the other hand. And you can actually identify among the IT team who could be some potential security champions. We even see clients where it's not anymore the CISO or his team who run the bug bounty program. It's the security champions within the dev team, and the CISO team is just a service provider for the IT teams who can orchestrate the programs at a higher level. And finally, the third point I would like to mention is that all the diverse automation use cases that bug bounty enables. The thing with pen test is that at the end of the day, you get a static document like a PDF. So as relevant this information in the report might be, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to actually use it at scale. With bug bounty, you do have some structured data because the reports are actually filled by the hunters through the platform interface using a standard mandatory fields. And then when the information is received by the program manager on the client side, he or she will verify, update, and validate this information. So it means that as a result of that process, you get structured and validated data. And once you have that, you can actually use that data and leverage it and integrate it within your organization workflows and tools. It means that you can automate many things, many tasks that otherwise would be done manually or would not be done at all just because it's so time consuming. A first use case, which is the most obvious one, would be ticket management. For example, we provide connectors on all ticket management platforms like Jira, and you can create automatically tickets and make easier the internal management of vulnerabilities and remediations. And it also creates transparency and accountability, among the concerned teams. Another use case could be for the most advanced clients, regression testing within their CI/CD pipeline in order to replace the manual work of code reviews for security issues with automated security testing, using the very data from the bug bounty reports, which are directly pushed through the CI/CD pipeline. As a result of such use cases, many clients start seeing security from a proactive point of view as an enabler instead of being an obstacle. And a third use case would be virtual patching. As we know, manual patch creation often become unfeasible as the number of vulnerabilities grow. And that's why our platform enables our clients to easily update and fine-tune their web application firewalls with the vulnerability data generated by our programs, and therefore convert this data into virtual patches to maximize their protection systems efficiency. So as we saw, the old security assessment model is dead. Security needs to be integrated and potentially continuous in order to be technically and economically scalable. Testing once a year while production changes multiple times monthly, weekly, or even daily is archaic. And bug bounty can help security leaders to solve the challenge of securing at scale in hybrid environments. When we speak with security leaders across EMEA and APAC, what we can see is that the question among most of them is no more really whether they will or will not run and launch a bug bounty program. It's more how and where to start. And there we can help, and I would be more than happy to take your questions after the session. Thank you very much.